our viewers. Welcome to another episode on The Talk with Reby. On today's episode, we have an amazing guest on the show. Before then, I would like to introduce myself. For those who do not know me, my name is Rebecca Irabo and I am the host on The Talk with Reby. On today's episode, we have a very special person that I got to know along the way in my journey here in Canada, and I'm so overwhelmed as how kind, loving, and attentive she has been. She's one of those people that I really admire and look up to as well, and I'm so happy to have her on the show. So before she introduces herself, I want to thank every one of you for joining and watching today's episode. Thank you for taking your time to watch today's episode on The Talk with Reby. I would like to give a brief introduction about the guest we have today. She is a wife and a mother and also a professional in her field. She's from Zimbabwe and she's an amazing person, like I said earlier. So, Yvonne, please introduce yourself to the viewers. They would like to know you and what you do, where you are from, and what you're passionate about. Just a brief introduction, yes.
Thank you so much for having me, Rebecca, to this show, and it's a pleasure to be with you today on this show. My name is Yvonne Mungofa, and like she mentioned, I'm a Zimbabwean by nationality. I moved here to Canada 2 years ago with my family. I have 3 beautiful kids. They keep me busy, but I love them all the same. And I'm also a professional marketing / communications individual. And I am passionate about health and safety. And I'm also passionate about, mental and physical well-being.
Thank you so much, Yvonne, for that amazing introduction. We are so happy to have you on the show, and I'm sure that a lot of people are ready to learn a lot from you today on this platform. I also want to thank those who watched the previous episode on The Talk with Reby. On the previous episode, we had a special guest on the show, and she shared her experience about being a single teenage mom who is thriving in her role as a single mother and having 3 kids at the moment, and also pursuing a career while being an amazing mother to her 3 kids. So shout out to everyone who watched the previous episode on The Talk with Reby. On today's episode, I would like to ask you, Yvonne, what experience would you like to share with us on today's episode?
I guess today I would speak about how I am adjusting to my life here in Canada, being a mom, being a career woman, and also just trying to stay on top of myself as far as my mental health and my physical health is concerned.
Oh, thank you. I believe this is a very amazing topic because at least more than 50% of the world population are moms, and most of them are working moms. Working moms in the sense that for this program, I'm going to refer to mothers who have wives and mothers and also pursuing a career or tending to a particular business. I'm going to refer to each and every one of them as working moms on this show. So it's a very difficult role to be a wife and a mother and also pursuing your professional career or trying to build your business to a particular standard. So it's a difficult role, and I believe mothers that are thriving in this role should be regarded as superhumans. Like, it's a lot. You have to get a lot of things done. You have to ensure that you have a great time management skill. You pay attention to the tiniest detail. A lot of things go on in the heads of moms. It's a lot, and I just want to say a big shout out to working moms out there. You are really doing a great job, no matter how little it is. You deserve an accolade. You deserve that recognition, to be seen and appreciated every single day. So we are saying well done to each and every one of you. And then, of course, our role model here, it's not easy having your career, thriving in it, trying to be the best in your field, and then being a present parent to your children, and then being a good wife to your husband. It's a whole lot, and I just want to say thank you for coming here to share your experience. So to proceed, I have a very few questions to ask you that I'm sure that aspiring working moms and present working moms would like to learn about, because I'm curious and I'm certain that a lot of people are curious about how working moms are doing it. Like, how are you guys doing it? It's really like an impossible task. As someone who is not married yet, that's one of the things that scare me. Like, how am I going to balance each and every one of these roles and do it well? Because our parents, they had it. I don't know the magic. They just,
it's like
they were perfect. They were just perfect. And for me, I used to ask myself, can I meet up to that standard of what my mom did? And even seeing all mothers, some mothers out there in the past generation, and how they were able to do their role successfully. So going to the questions I have for you today, I would like to ask you, what are the most difficult challenges you face as a working mom? What are those challenges, the most difficult ones you face?
Well, so for me, I would say the most difficult thing is finding that balance between work and between spending time with your family. It takes you to be intentional of what you have to do or what you need to not do in order to make things happen. If you have a looming deadline at work and you also have something happening with your kids, you have to make a choice between having that work done or having to rely on someone doing it for you. So for me, I would say I'm very lucky to have a supportive husband. So it's like a shared responsibility. I'm not doing this on my own. I also have someone, like a very strong support system in him, where sometimes if I cannot be there to make dinner or to tuck kids in bed or to take them to their extra curriculum stuff, he is always there coming in to step in. And the other thing that I can speak about is there's a lot of stress and a lot of guilt from being a mom. Sometimes if you're focusing on yourself and that we call it mom guilt, it creeps in quickly to say, oh, I think I'm having too much fun on my own. I need to involve my kids or to involve my husband. But I'm just here today to say it's okay to take care of yourself as a mom. It happens to everyone. Like all the moms that I talk about, they have that mom guilt. If they go to the mall, they spend a few hours in the mall, and by the time they look at the clock, they have to go back home rushing and thinking, oh, maybe I left the kids alone for too long, or maybe I'm having too much fun. It's okay to have time to yourself, to have time without the kids, the husband, just to focus on yourself. And the third thing that I spoke about is the stress. You are managing a lot of things at the same time. The kids are growing, they need your attention. The husband needs your attention. You also need, so being a mother does not take away from you being a woman. So being a mother is just part of the responsibilities that you have. So for you to be that woman who's a superwoman, superpower, you will be giving, like, the moment you wake up, someone is coming in, Mom, what's for breakfast? Mom, what's for dinner? So from the moment you wake up, you're giving and giving. But if there isn't much of you to give inside, or as an individual, as a woman, if you're not feeling 100% from your mental state or physical state, you're not going to be able to pour from that cup to give everyone around you, be it work, be your husband, be your kids. So I always then talk about just that self-regulation, or like self-balance or self-care as a person, for you to be able to be fulfilled inside you, to be able to give to all those other people or other things that need your attention.
Wow, thank you so much for that insight. And I believe, like what you said, you cannot give what you don't have. If you don't have enough sufficiency, you won't be able to pour out to people around you. And that means a lot, because you as a mom, you have to pour into yourself to ensure that you are sufficient enough to be able to play your role as a mother. And for you to be able to pour into others, you have to be in the right state of mind, physically, emotionally, mentally, and every other aspect as a woman. So have to ensure that you take care of yourself to the maximum level, because in taking care of yourself you are taking care of the home as well and taking care of every other important things. So you are the heroine of your life, you are the protagonist, and you matter a lot for the survival of those around you. So that's like very insightful and helpful for us to learn that, as for us to thrive in our role as a working mom, you have to focus on you to be able to give out to those around you. This brings us to one of the most important questions I have for you today. When you mean you have to pour into yourself to be able to pour into others, what are the top 5 self-care routines that you undergo to ensure that you're in the right state, physically, mentally, emotionally, and every other aspect as a woman? What are those 5 major self-care routines you undergo?
So for me, I don't have 5.
It's
but
might be more, but
yes, I only have one thing that I do that I really enjoy the most. And the thing is, when I do it, I don't get the mom guilt. So I spend a lot of time in the gym. So I go to the Good Life Fitness Gym 6 times a week.
Wow.
Every morning I'm in the gym, and
nice.
For me that's the one. So it's like, before I speak more about it, it's important for people, like even if you're a wife or just as a single person, to find that one thing that you do in your life that brings you joy. So that's like a hobby that you can have, and it can act as an outlet for you when things are not going well with you, mentally or physically. If you have that one hobby or that one thing that you enjoy doing. Some people enjoy watching movies, some people like reading books, or some people paint, or some people like do different things. So for me, I'm really glad that I find that safe space and safe haven in working out. I've been doing this like I think since I had my first child.
Wow,
I wasn't working out before that, but when I had my first child, that's when you realize, oh, I think I'm getting out of shape. Oh, I think, and you start doing it, and you also get to meet a lot of people in the gym. Not only moms, but you also get to network and meet different people in the gym. I've made a lot of friends in the gym, just professionally, and some people have become very close to me. And one thing that I have with the gym is I do not work out on my own. I do group fitness, and you know, with group fitness, there's a classroom full of people with the same intent, and there's a coach who's giving you the instructions. Every day of my life, I'm giving people instructions. You know, do this, do that. So the gym is one place where I also get to people giving me instructions, and I'm surrounded by people with the same intention. Everyone wants to work out, and people are working out for different things. Some are working out to stay in shape, some are working out to lose weight, some are working out because it's their outlet, like their safe outlet. And for me, that's what it is. So every day I'm in the gym, every day I'm working out, every day I'm surrounded by people who have the same goal, and we actually hold each other accountable. And when I do not show up for a gym session, you have people messaging you, are you okay? Because they know I will be coming. So you know that statement to say, they know I will be coming, even if I'm late, they know I will be there, because this means so much to me and to all those other people that I work out with. We hold each other accountable, and you know, when you're physically fit, you have great wealth. Like, it clears your mind.
Health is wealth.
Your health is wealth. It clears your mind. You have energy. Like, you need that energy as a mom or as a person to be able to take care of all those things that come after. So for me, I prefer waking out in the morning. After my workout, I take one deep breath, and then the hustle starts. Getting kids ready for school, getting ready for work, dropping them off, making their lunch boxes, making sure that by the time we leave, the house is at least clean enough for us to come back in. So all those things will start happening after, but I have to make sure that first, before I face the day, I just get time to myself, and I don't feel bad when going to the gym, which is really like that one thing I can do without having the mom guilt. And for me, it's also like a great example for my kids. So, you know, sometimes kids these days, they want to just spend time on their phones, on their tablets, watching TV. They don't want to be physically active. So it's also a part of leading by example. They know that mom goes to the gym, dad runs, like my husband runs long distances. And for them to also find a sport that they can do even if they don't enjoy it, it sets like a good example for them to know that, oh, it's something that we are also doing and they can also do it. It's not easy. But you have to start from somewhere, and then like if you do something for like 21 consecutive days, it forms a habit.
Yes.
And it's so hard to not do it. It's so hard for me to not wake up early in the morning. I know, like, it's not easy when you wake up. You're thinking, oh, do I really need this workout today? But once you go out there, and then once you have the workout in, you're feeling so good, so energetic, and you are ready to face the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is a lot. I have actually learned a lot from what you said, and I'm quite sure that those who are watching this episode today are also able to learn quite a lot from what you just shared.
Yeah.
And there's something I picked from what you spoke about just now. You spoke about the fact that as a working mom, you should have a hobby, something that brings you joy, something that you do that makes you feel alive. And for you, it's going to the gym. And I want to say that having a hobby is not childish.
No, it's not.
It's not childish because some people think it might be a childish thing to have a hobby. Your hobby could be dancing,
Yes.
it could be watching a movie, it could be reading novels, it could be going to the gym, it could be cooking or anything.
Baking.
Something
love baking.
something that brings you joy. So as a working mom, having a hobby, something you do that brings you joy, you just have to have something you do for yourself that fills you up as a working mom. With that, you find joy, because sometimes there are some things you do. When you do it, you are so happy and you are ready to just, what next, what do I need to do? You have energy to do a lot of other things. So it's important that you find that thing that you see as a hobby, something that you are happy with, and you do it because you derive joy in it. It's something that fills you up and make you energetic. So as a working mom, one key thing that you want to share today is that you must have a hobby, and you must ensure that you do that thing consistently
For yourself.
for yourself as well. So I really do appreciate this insights that you shared with us, and I would like to ask you, because you also said that you are not doing this alone. Obviously, you can't do it alone. You need as many support as you can get from your husband, from even your family members, and whoever you have around you that can support you and help you in this role, because all moms have this perception that I can do it all.
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of mom online, and the societal expectation is that as a mom you should be able to do everything on your own, but I don't think that's fair. You should be able to seek help and get support from people around you, and most especially the person you are doing life with should be your go-to person for support any day, anytime. So I would like to ask you that, what are the ways your partner has been able to support you as a working mom in your role
As a mom, okay.
Yeah.
So I mentioned coming to Canada 2 years ago.
Okay.
So back at home, back in Zimbabwe, when you have your family, you have a maid or a house, like a babysitter,
Yes.
who's living in with you, who's taking care of everything, cooking, cleaning, they're helping with the kids. So that changed when we came to Canada. There's no helper. You are the helper, you are the maid, you are the cleaner, you are the cook, you are the babysitter. And so it took a transition, or it is a phase of transition, a phase of learning for both myself, for my husband, and for my kids as well. So for my husband, it was always, he's the man of the house. I don't know if anyone else relates, but in my African context, if you're the man of the house, you get everything done for you. Your wife is there, is cooking for you, your wife is cleaning after you. And now when we come here to Canada, there is no one to help with all of that. So it was a mindset shift for him to know that if I don't do these things, then my wife is going to be burnt out. So I'm really glad that it was a process, but eventually he got the hang of things, and now he can actually cook. He actually makes nice meals. He never used to cook back in Zimbabwe. He actually makes nice meals. He cooks, he cleans, he helps in any way that I need help. And As a woman, sometimes, or as a wife, we, like you mentioned, we don't want to ask for help because we want to do everything on our own. We want to be the superhero, superwoman. But if you try and do that, you will burn out. And once you burn out, like I said before, you're not going to be able to dish out to everyone else around you who needs you. So you have to be able to ask for help. Sometimes, if your husband sees you're on top of things, they will assume that everything is going on well. But if you don't ask, they will never know. So it's also one thing that helps communication. You communicate with your spouse. You let them know what's happening. You let them know where you need help. And sometimes they don't realize that, oh, she's taking in too much. And sometimes my husband will even come to me and say, why don't I help with this? And you go to rest. It's important as a partner, for him to understand that this is what I'm going through and where he can pitch in to help. My kids, my oldest is 12. I've got a 10-year-old and a 5-year-old. It also took them a lot of learning to know that, oh, we don't have a maid anymore who cleans after us. So now when we eat, we have to put our plates away, or we have to clean our room. It's also a process. It's also something that we're working together as a family to get things working. And I would say where we are now, I think we are in a safe space. Everyone knows what they need to do. It takes constant reminding for the kids as well, but they're also helping out. So they're making my role as a mom much easier to handle. Yes.
Wow. In fact, listening to this, hearing you say this, I'm just smiling because life is so much easier when you know you can count on your loved ones, people around you, and particularly the person you are doing life with, someone who has initiative, who sees you as the human that you are, and knows that they have to come in when you are falling short of expectation, or maybe when you have a lot of responsibilities. Sometimes some people might not know, so you have to communicate, like what you said. You have to ask for help when you need to. And women, naturally, we could be control freaks. We just want to do it all by ourselves because we believe nobody can do it as perfect as we can do it. Just know that as long as it is done, give other people the privilege to do things, because when people don't have responsibilities, when you don't give people the responsibility to do some duties, you won't know how good they can get at it. But once you allow them that privilege to do that, then you see that with time it becomes perfect, even more than you in some cases. So having a supportive spouse it can never be overemphasized. When you are married, being a mom, that will make your role as a working mom easier, and then having to train your kids to have the mindset of the fact that they also have to do some particular roles themselves and not wait for mom to do everything. Sometimes as moms we always want to do it all, and then we don't know that we are spoiling our kids in that process. But if we get to a stage when you know that they are sensible enough to carry out some tasks, and then you let them do it. So at least when you distribute those roles, those little things, you might think it's little, but it's really taking off some load off your shoulders and making you have a breathing space for yourself. So it's really all about teamwork. It's a team.
It is
teamwork is important. There's this popular saying, teamwork makes the dream work. So even in a family setup, working as a team is very important, and everyone plays their roles perfectly. That makes life easy for all working moms, and not just working moms, even single mothers out there. So it's really important. Okay, I still have questions for you, because this is an opportunity to learn some very important things that would help not just me, that I'm even speaking to you right here, a lot of people out there that are currently facing this situation, or people that will face this situation in a couple of years to come. This particular episode will really impact into the life of a lot of people. So what policies or practices do you think organizations or companies can implement to help mothers? Because yes, you are doing all of this to, you've already taken care of the fact that you already know the difficulties you are facing, then you have a self-care routine for yourself, then you have the support of your family and children, and then working as a team. But if the organization you are working for is making life difficult for you, trust me, it's still going to affect the thing you've already, built up and worked on at home. It will still affect you in other ways. So you have to be in a work environment whereby the policies and practices make life easier for moms is also very important. What policies or practices do you think organizations can implement to help working moms?
So I would start by saying I think I'm fortunate enough to work for an organization that's flexible, and it's flexible in a way that it's not like I don't have to go to work at all and just get paid, but in terms of the working hours. So sometimes you cannot be there by 9 a.m., but you know that you have a certain task that needs to be completed by this deadline. You know, when you start work a bit late, you have to also put in those hours a little bit extra, so that you have to, you take care of the things that you need to take care of. And I think that flexibility is really important, because if you have an employer who is rigid to say you have to be here 9 to 5, and then you don't have time to do anything else that's coming in between. So that flexibility for me is what's really important. And I also would say, as moms, you have to be able, sometimes things come in for your kids are doing sports or they're traveling. You have to be able to take that time off, that whether it's annual leave that you need to take. When you need it, you have to be able to get it, so that whenever you need to attend to something that's happening to you personally, you can still be able to excuse yourself from work and still being able to take care of things in your end. I would say those are the most important things, yes.
Yeah.
And then it also depends with the team that you're working with, if they are accommodative enough. Sometimes you just get a call from the school that your child has been hit in the head by a boy, you need to pick them up. So if you are having that room for you to be able to tell the people you work with that you have a family emergency and they understand that, I think that's really important.
Okay, that's helpful. When organizations have a flexibility policy to make being a working mom a very smooth procedure for every working moms out there. And flexibility is very important, and you also said that having a supportive team when you are falling short of some particular duties, somebody can come in and cover up for you, and that's really important. And then you spoke about work hours, or probably even using your PTO for some important duties. There's this series, Working Moms, that I watched, and it made me realize that some working moms are deprived of promotion based on the fact that they went on mental leave, or they take the PTO frequently, and that is affecting their performance at work. And it's quite a lot, because you cannot work over family. Obviously, you have to put your family first in everything. So to juggle that role and then having to pick which is more important is really difficult.
I think I can also add into that to say, as a working mom yourself, you have a lot of things going on in the background, but when you are at work, show up. And what I mean by show up is let everyone know that you can do this job better than anyone else. And that way, you're also not limiting yourself in terms of those opportunities for promotion. But if you are lukewarm, things will not happen. So that's when, we said at the start, it gets really difficult to be able to be that excelling top employee and to also be at home. But I would say if you're at work, be the best you could be. When you go back home, remove that, super top employee cap and put on your mom cap and, enjoy the moment.
Yeah, that's really important. This reminds me of when I was much younger. So our principal would say, all your problems back home, put them back home, and then focus on everything that has to do with your school. That particular phrase always ring in my ear in school, and I believe that whatever is worth doing is worth doing well. So when you are at work, be on your A game. When you are present, let them know that you are making a huge impact. That will make them want to retain you. You are an asset to that organization. So it's really important that you don't let the things happening back home to affect your performance at work. So you have to focus and ensure you do your best to excel in your field. And you really made a very good point with that. Also, organizations that thoughtful enough to bring up policies that will also support working moms, that will really go a long way as well. I'm really curious about this particular question. Can you discuss the importance of time management and organizational skills in your role as a working mom?
Yeah, if you're lacking time management, and then things will fall apart. There are a lot of things happening every day, appointments, things are happening every day. So the one thing that I always do is to write things down and print them up, paste them on the fridge at home. That way I know next week my son is invited to a birthday party, so we have to plan around that. And in 2 days' time I have a doctor's appointment, and actually set reminders in your phone. Because if you don't do that, and you keep everything in your head, you are handling and you're dealing with a lot of things, and some things are going to fall off. I also go as far as planning for the meals that the family is having. So I'm fortunate enough, I have one of my coaches is helping me with that.
Okay.
So she helps me with the meal plans to make sure we are all eating healthy. So we have the meal plans for the entire week, and we know that on Monday and Tuesday, this is what we are eating. And sometimes you have to prepare things in advance just to save you the time. No one has time to be cooking every day after work. So that time management and that planning in advance, I find it helps even at work or at home or everywhere you are. You just have to know that you have to plan for the entire week or the 2 weeks, depending on how you want to do it. And actually visualize things. You can actually put it on a map, print a calendar, jot things down, put reminders in your phone, and you have those reminders popping in, and that way it helps you save tons of time.
Wow. I know that time management and organizational skills is something that we cannot take it out of our role as an aspiring working mom, and even as a present working mom. You have to be very detailed and organized, and then be able to manage your time. And your technique in doing that is really awesome, and I'm glad to know that it's really working for you based on the experience you've already shared. So the last question, because we are almost done with the questions we have for today. How important do you think therapy is for working moms? And I think the word therapy, because of this present age, is not a foreign culture. No, I think that every working mom requires therapy, and therapy is not, it does not mean you are ill in a particular way, or it shouldn't be viewed in a negative light. It's just you getting the professional help you need to function in your role. And therapy does not mean it's just like maybe you have a mental breakdown. No, it's you going to someone who is more advanced, who is learned and professional. You are telling that person what you are going through, and the person is giving you a suggestion on how to do it, a technique or a particular method you could employ to solve a problem. That's how I see therapy, and I think that's how it should be viewed by everyone. So it's something that I believe it's really cool and helpful for working moms to adopt. And how important do you think that is?
Okay, so in my culture, like my Zimbabwean culture, therapy is not a common thing. It's rarely spoken about. But for me,
what therapy is not so common because you have a friend you are talking to, a friend that is probably going through the same situation as you, who is also looking for help. So how can you go to someone who is also struggling? We could comfort each other, but having this professional guidance on how to do things properly, that's what therapy is. Because the African culture, we just go to our friends and chase them. Oh, this is what I'm facing as a mom. Oh my God, my children are doing this, my husband is doing that. You just gist, and then they offer their own opinion based on what they know, which might not even be like the proper thing. It might not even be your friends, it could be your siblings, even your mom or your dad. It's okay to tell people that matter to you your challenges, but in terms of getting help on what to do, going to therapy and let me say in quotes, gisting them about your daily activities, your challenges, they could actually tell you that, okay, why not do it this way? Why not employ this method? Why not? It's going to give you that guidance to do things better. So okay,
Yeah, so
interesting.
it's really like a topic that most people are not comfortable talking about, especially in my culture. But for me, with the exposure that I have now, and also just knowing, especially like usually therapy is linked with things to do with mental health, mental well-being. I was fortunate enough, I think, for the company that I worked for, Unilever, for the most period in my career, that was overemphasized. Like, seek help if you feel you need to talk to someone. There are resources that we used. Even now here in Canada with my employer, there are resources that are available for people to seek help and seek therapy. You know, because sometimes you're going through stuff and it might not be enough to confide in a friend or to confide in your husband or to confide in, you know, but you feel more comfortable getting that professional help. I feel it's underrated. People should take therapy, and sometimes people are dealing with traumas from childhood or things they are facing in the present day, and sometimes they don't even know about it. But if once you go to therapy, you get to unlock all those things, and you get to heal, and you get to move on as a reformed person, I would say.
Yes, wow, thank you so much. I thought I was the only one that had it all
Yeah.
up in my head. Thank you so much, and I want to say that I'm so proud of you, and we have come to the end of the interview session of this show.
Okay.
And we have the entertainment part of this show because
Okay.
yes, we have learned a lot. We have to loosen up a bit and just have fun. We have a game we are going to play.
Okay.
It's something that all the guests on this show
Okay.
plays. So I'm going to ask you some questions. It's a game called Never Have I Ever.
Okay.
So if you've done any one of it, so you're going to put 10 fingers up.
Okay.
So when you've done any one of it, you put one finger down.
Okay.
So if you haven't, you just leave your finger up, just like that. So if you've done more than 3, there's a particular game you will play.
Okay.
Yes, so we are going to do it that way, just to lighten up the...
So do I lift my fingers now?
Okay, yes, you can do that now. Then I'll go ahead to ask the questions. Alright, so the first question is, never have I ever had a whole week of sleep-filled nights. That means you slept very well all through that week without interruption, disturbance. Oh,
I've never.
okay,
Yeah,
then you put it
also,
on.
okay.
Yes, yes. Okay. Never have I ever gone for 3 days without putting on the washing machine.
I have.
Then you put one finger down.
Okay.
Okay. Never have I ever watched children's television with no children in the room.
I have.
Okay,
So
yeah, yeah. Never have I ever told a lie to my children. No parent have done this. Never have I ever called my children by the wrong name. Okay. Never have I ever pretended I needed to make a phone call to get out of an awkward conversation with a co-worker. Okay. Never have I ever changed careers. Okay. Never have I ever gotten a really nice present from a boss or colleague. Okay. Never have I ever played a prank on a co-worker. Okay. The last question. Never have I ever forgotten a co-worker's name. Okay. You've done basically 7 out of 10. Okay. So I'm going to give you some number you want to pick.
5.
Okay. So use the letter Y, which is the initial of your first name, to start or in between or end at least 5 sentences. That means you use the letter Y to start a sentence, in between a sentence, and to end a sentence.
You are the best person you can ever be. Your life or your destiny is in your hands. How many do I have?
Nice. You have one more.
Okay. You only live once.
You know that you are using for so many. Okay. Thank you so much for participating in the game session, and thank you so much, Yvonne, for being on today's episode on the Topic Ready. And today's episode was actually sponsored by a logistic company back home in my own country in Nigeria. That's Africa. So we have a very little gift to give you at the end of the show. Africa is a company in Nigeria that deals with international deliveries. They send packages, they send cargoes from Nigeria to different countries all over the world. Patronize them because having them as one of our sponsors, it's a lot, and we are so grateful for them for sponsoring today's episode. So please patronize them. I'm going to tag them on our social media handles, and then you can go and search for them on Google, and then follow them on social media. And then if you would like to use their services, please reach out to them. So thank you so much, Saint Paso, for sponsoring today's episode, and I will hand over the gifts to you after the show. What little word of advice do you have for the viewers out there?
Okay, so I think one last thing that I would say is follow your dreams, follow your passion. You can never lose anything in trying out, whether it's a new thing or something you've always wanted to do. You can only regret those things that you did not try. So if you're thinking of starting a new career, starting a new journey, or exploring into something different in your life, go for it. Yeah.
I'm so happy and grateful for each and every one of you for watching today's episode, and thank you once again, Yvonne, for being on the show. Do not forget to follow us on our social media handles. We are on all social media handles, and of course, do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know where the subscribe button is, and I know that a lot of you do not like that button. Please click on it and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you can stay updated and connected with us and know when we have new episodes on the channel. Thank you, and bye for now. Bye.